What's good, y'all? Let's go, Carter. And in this video, I'm going to explain what the field is like in the U.S. Army. Spoiler alert, it's a pretty bad time. Like, not that many people are coming out of the field like, dang, I really had fun out there. Can't wait to go back. The people who say that usually end up becoming those first sergeants and sergeant majors that just live and breathe the Army. So just like I did with that Barry's video, I'm going to explain the field in basic training / AIT, the field in the regular Army, and then the field while deployed. Anyways, though, starting with the field and basic training, you go to 3 different field training exercises or FTXs while in boot camp. First one happens like 2 to 3 weeks in the basics, so still red phase, and for most folks it's their first time camping and you chose to do it with a bunch of drill sergeants. There's very little like freedom here because you are still in basic training. The drills are telling you exactly where to go, exactly what to do. Just like almost all of the days in basic, you don't make your schedule. So the minute you wake up to the minute you bed down is according to a set schedule of things y'all gotta do, like where to go, when to eat. First platoon sets up over here. They also got fire guard. Like, you don't have to put much thought into field training and basic, and for good reason, right? Y'all don't really know what you're doing yet. So that FTX one, it lasts 2 to 3 days. Y'all pretty much just learn like basic soldier skills, sleeping outside, so tents, guard duty, and a few battle drills. This basically just teaches like the recruits how to not wear the helmet backwards if you end up wearing it at all. FTX2 takes place 5 to 6 weeks in the basic training, and this time they expect a little more out of y'all. You're gonna be doing more, days are gonna be longer for sure. By the way, you're not getting much sleep for most of basic training, and also you're not getting a lot of sleep in the field. The little sleep time you do get is in a tent with a little small mat on the ground. Anyway, this one lasts 3 to 4 days, and during that time y'all are gonna learn rifle skills, reacting to contact, looks like this, how to work more as a team, some leadership, and this big one, land navigation, which is basically how to read a military map and get to points on it, like how to see where you are and walk to another point without getting lost. Y'all also might do a little more ruck marching with this one, and the more I describe this, like the more I'm so glad I don't got to do that again. Like, this just sounds like it sucks because it's going to. By the way, I forgot to mention earlier, drills are still going to be smoking y'all in the field. Yeah, all the push-ups, flutter kicks, all that still gonna be going on. Just now it's in dirt, mud, grass. Yeah, it's a fun time. So then y'all pass that in about 8 to 9 weeks in the basic training. Y'all have the forge or the final FTX. This is the last field op of basic and also the hardest. This is, believe it or not, the final challenge of basic training altogether, because after y'all pass this, you graduate in like a few days. I'm gonna make a whole video on it because it's a lot to go over, but long story short, y'all ruck march into the field. I'll stay there 4 to 5 days. Yep, 5 days outside, just outside. During the forge, y'all do everything you learn in basic and those other FTXs, except this time the drills aren't as hands-on with you every step. At this point, it's more evaluation. It's like, I've taught you it, now prove to me you know everything we've been going up. Focus is a whole lot of lanes where, like I said, you're evaluated on everything y'all learned so far. Y'all gonna ruck march a lot, do a lot of teamwork, focused obstacle courses, and just like the other two, get very little sleep. Also, at my base, at least here, they had the concept of being dead. So if you messed up on something, the drills wouldn't even yell at you. They just be like, you're dead. Once they say that, you had to drop lifeless and basically wait for other recruits to either carry you or come to your aid, and then they'd eventually be like, all right, get up, get out of my sight. So this happened to me because I walked a little bit away from the group for something. I forgot what I was trying to get, but I didn't bring a battle buddy, which, if you know basic training environments, everywhere you go, you bring a battle buddy or you're cooked. There's no walking alone anywhere in basic. But yeah, I walked like genuinely 3 to 4 steps away from the group. The drill sergeant saw me and were like, what the? Carter, you're dead. So I dropped to the ground and none of the other recruits saw me. I'm laying on the ground like, what happens now? The drill's just looking at me like, see why you always bring a battle buddy? Nobody even knows you're dead right now. So I'm laying lifeless like this on the ground, a few more seconds, and then the drills are like, you better scream or something, like let your platoon know what happened. On my head, I'm like, Roger. And I kid you not, right before I open my mouth to scream, I was like right before I do it, 2 folks from my platoon came running over. Like, I guess they saw me like eventually or something like that. The drills are like, look here, I just saved your battle buddy. Yeah, like I said, if we messed up in any way during the forge, they'd be like, you dead, drop. The only way to get resurrected was other recruits coming to save you. Yeah, good times, man. But anyways, after all of those days of torture are over, y'all have one more obstacle, and that's the 12-mile run. Your feet are gonna hurt, you're gonna be tired, thirsty, and literally one of the only things that get y'all through it is each other. Like, no cap. Like, y'all seeing cadence together and motivate each other through the night. And when your back can barely take any more of the weight, when your feet feel like Play-Doh, y'all get to the finish line. And here's where y'all become like soldiers officially. Basic training is typically 3 field events, and for AIT, which is job training that happens right after basic, it depends what your job is, but the average amount of FTXs is like 0 to 2. In AIT, some don't have the field at all because AIT is focused on teaching you your Army job, not so much like overall Army stuff. So some you might not even go to the field, and the ones where you do, it's gonna be much shorter than regular fields, like 2 to 3 days at the most, and definitely not as difficult as the boot camp FTX. Now on to regular Army field training. What is the field like when you're all done with basic training and now you're in the regular or big Army, like some people like to call it? First thing to understand is that how much you go to the field is going to depend heavy on what type of unit you go to. I've been in really high tempo units where they might go to the field every month, sometimes twice a month at the heaviest portion of the year. Also been in really lax units that maybe go once a year, and the field was just setting up tents across the street. Literally, I'm gonna tell the story to that field because that was actually low-key a chill time. So the same way saying your job affects your Army life, this is another one of those ways. If you choose a more combat focused job like infantry, tanker, combat engineer, y'all are gonna go to units that are in the field more often. It's just the expectation of the job. Again, picking a job that's not combat focused doesn't eliminate you from going to those units too. Like my MOS is commo, we're technically a support MOS. However, we can be attached to those units, and yes, you have to go to the field all the time with them because the unit moves as a unit. It's kind of in the name. Here's how they typically go at your unit. Months out, your leadership will let you know you have a field training coming up. They should, at least, if they're doing their jobs of keeping the Joes informed. They let y'all know, give a time and date, and they will do all the planning logistically. All right, so the leadership picks the exact location, activities, what they're going to train on. This will all be typed up and put into something called a CONOP or OPORD. I'm not gonna go too deep into what all that is because y'all don't really need to know at this stage of your career, but just know that's the plan for the field, and it's topped up months ahead, sent to higher leadership. They look at it and be like, this idea is trash, fix it. They make changes and then they push it out to y'all. And that's what y'all do. So y'all see the final product with safety in mind, and also like what y'all might do in mind. So they think probably it's gonna be ordering Little Caesars to the training site. They plan ahead and have to talk a few miles further in the woods. This is what your leadership is supposed to do though. By the way, that doesn't always happen. So the morning y'all are set to head out will be stupid early in the morning, especially if you're signing out weapons from the armory. It's gonna be like 3 to 4 a.m. report time, not get up time. Like 3:30 or 4, you and your antennas need to be at the company, ready to grab your weapon and load into vehicles, head up. So each unit has tactical vehicles, whether that be Humvees, JLTVs, tanks, don't matter. And those are what you're gonna ride out to in the field. Y'all gonna organize in a specific convoy with vehicles in certain points, and they're usually good and ready to go the day before the field. Usually y'all get all the gear you're supposed to need and hit the road. I head to the field site, and E1 through E4, you're probably going to be driving one of those vehicles I mentioned out there. But you won't be alone. You'll have what's called a TC, or vehicle commander, who sits in the front passenger seat and is in charge of the vehicle essentially. And you're just doing like the leg work, like literally the leg. They're there to make sure you're going the right way, not dozing off from getting 3 hours of sleep last night. This will usually be an E5 sergeant, but could be a lieutenant through lieutenant colonel, the brigade commander himself. Just depends on where you fall in the unit. First sergeant above though, like they typically have a designated driver, so this won't be like some last minute, hey, you're driving the commander type thing. Again, keyword typically. Nothing ever really goes to plan in the field. So you drive the location, hop out of the vehicles, and begin setting up a talk. This is basically the HQ or headquarters, home away from home. Tents go up, antennas go up, and bug antennas go up too. Mosquitoes, they watching you set up your tent like, ooh, what do we have here? But the first few hours are usually stressful, and someone, usually a private, is always getting yelled at for something small because everyone's trying to be on time. Like the higher ups are stressing trying to be on time, and it rolls downhill. Now the senior NCOs are stressing, and then your section sergeant stressing, and then they take it out on the guys below, and now we all just stressing, just tired and angry. But once everything's set up, you can start the work you need to do. Commo, we make sure the comms are good, troubleshoot when someone needs help with their radio, not if, but when they do. Supply, they give out supplies, I guess. Higher ups, they start reviewing the trainings and having meetings and having a game of who can get the least amount of sleep and still function. Also, speaking of sleep, you get the same little mat thing that you can set up inside your tent to sleep in, or they give out cots and you put it in your tent, you sleep on that. Or if you got the space, you can sleep inside of your vehicles. Yeah, like at NTC, one time we were sleeping on top of our vehicles, like on top of the LMTV. Don't toss and turn, mess around and fall off the truck and break your neck. At least you got insurance though. Right. So yeah, that first day summarize is early wake up, heading out early, usually in the morning, setting up everything, being a little stressed out, and then ending it by crying into MRE. Being an MRE, yes, you would eat more of those in the field, but that's not all you eat. Like, contrary to popular belief, we can get hot meals in the field. This was called UGRAs, or Unitized Group Ration A. I think some people call it hot A's. It's basically a bunch of green containers with like actual cooked food, hot food coming from an off-field site, and it's served to the soldiers. Well, typically how they do it is you get UGRA or breakfast, and then MRE's lunch and dinner, or MRE breakfast and lunch, and then finish it with a UGRA for dinner. Now, they can range from basically DFAT quality to what in the world am I eating and why is it still moving on the plate? Now, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but when you've been in the field for days and surviving off MREs, that hot chow be looking like Golden Corral. You never known like true hunger until you got excited, like jumping with joy to eat some moose elbow and baked beans probably expired last decade. The eggs they come with are always trash, bro. Can't tell if it's solid, liquid, or gas. It's always one of two things. All right, it's either the wettest runny eggs you ever had, like you almost gotta drink the eggs, or scrambled eggs that's like solid, like in a cube shape. Like it doesn't move from the shape it's in. Like imagine a brick of eggs, like a kilo of drugs, like a rough, rigid, just kilo of eggs. A fork can barely push through. I actually broke forks before messing with this army food, man. Like, it was some sort of mystery meat. I think it was meant to be steak, which is like, it's a kind gesture, but I tried to tear a piece off with my plastic fork. Tell me how my fork snapped before the steak did. Like prongs of the fork completely off, fork handle in my hand. So I grabbed it, threw that away. I grabbed another fork, tried it again. That one broke too. Like, yo, what is this? Eventually just had to pick the whole thing up, just eat it with my hands like a caveman, and that barely helped. Over here chewing one bite like 5 minutes. Like, is this gum? Like, did y'all find an old tire and and throw it on the grill? And like the sad part is this actually happened in the it's actually happened in the regular DFAC one time too. Like not in the field, just the steak and the DFAC was breaking forks too. So food wise, it's typically gonna suck. But the one positive is you can bring snacks. Matter of fact, they usually always encourage you to bring some snacks in your bag with you so you don't starve out it. That don't mean bring your leftover Chick-fil-A. Just bring some snacks. You can go in between the meals to get you through the day. So after a few days or sometimes a few weeks of torture, you're gonna hear a leadership say index. And this is basically code word for training over. Field exercise is complete, and now y'all have to start the process of packing up and heading to base. You have no idea how happy it makes you to hear index, especially because majority of the time they don't tell y'all what day exactly you're going to leave. They just be like, should be out of here next few days, or maybe next week. We'll see. I don't know why they gatekeep the dates, but it's always, that always makes it 80 times worse not knowing when exactly you can end the camping trip from hell. So after y'all index, y'all pack up everything, put it away, load them in the vehicles, and hit the convoy again, headed for the COF, also known as company headquarters. Now, once you get there, the one thing you want to do is hop in your car, drive home, and shower. But there's one thing the Army teaches you is patience. Depends on your leadership, but a lot of the times you can't just leave yet. Even if it's been 3.5 weeks in the field and you want nothing more to get some Raising Cane's and shower for 3 hours. If y'all brought weapons to the field, obviously you have to turn turn those back into the armory, wait in line, you know, to turn it back in. And sometimes they make you clean your weapon before the armor accepts it. You have to place back all the gear y'all use, like all the tents got to be put up somewhere. Vehicles got to be parked correctly. You like clean the trash. I probably like, of course you got to do that. But once you've been on a camping trip from hell, the field, and get back, I'm telling you, you're going to want to do none of that. And you just want to rush to your bed with AC and sleep. And it's just like a long list of tasks sometimes they gotta do before you can leave. Drives you a little bit insane. But once everything turned back in, you can lead a cough. Some folks had their spouses pick them up if they didn't feel like leaving their car at the cough for 3 weeks. Depends on the unit, but a lot of time if you went out there, you get that next day off, or at a minimum you get that next PT off. You can come into work like a little bit later. Not always guaranteed, because there's no regulation saying they have to give you time off after the field. Like if you get back at 11:30 p.m., they can say, okay, 6:30 PT formation tomorrow, or no 6:30 PT formation tomorrow. Both are in the regulation technically, and it's not much you can really say back to them other than, but sorry, I'm tired. So which one they say really lets you know whether you're at a bad unit or a unit with common sense. Even the worst ones though that I've been at will give you they typically give you some time off. That's just how the field usually goes. I'm doing another video describing what NTC and JRTC are, which is basically a month and a half long field ops that you do at certain bases. You want to see what it's like to stay in the barracks in the army? Look right here.